Okay, no, just kidding. As you guys heard in our intro, we had to take a little bit of a break because we work together and our job shut down. We work at Nissan, and things got kind of out of hand. When me and Matt had met, we got along quite well with a lot of conspiracies, but we had contention with flat Earth. And it was not exactly what you would think. It wasn't the contention where people would Google and YouTube and find like a picture of a flat disk in space. It was a very like mutual, self-respect version of that. And I ran to a lot of people. I think I woke up the flat Earth in 2015, and I made the common mistake, Dave. You talk about it a lot, where you just want to run to your friends and go, "Oh my God, I got this amazing information. You're not going to believe what I just learned," and you just get shut down. Well, I got a lot of negative responses, and Matt has some friends that came to him with some pretty dumb shit. Well, Matt is definitely a glober, but he respects where we're coming from. He's not an entry level shill. Like, I've been working on him with good stuff. Like, he definitely respects us, but can't get there. And the past 2 years, me and Matt have gotten a lot closer. The past 2 years, I would say we agree with 75-80% of conspiracy theories. Like, we're on the level. We stopped talking about it because it's the only conspiracy where we get heated when we talk about. And I just wanted to have you on to maybe help carve out some of our ideas. And I'm telling you, he's about as advanced as your Rhetoric and your Simon Dan guys. Yeah.
Oh boy. Can I ask if Matt is got the vaccine?
No.
All
right, well,
sure,
good.
No way.
Not.
No,
Right.
That's what I mean. He's a
Would
great
this conversation be worth having if I did?
No,
then
that was a litmus
You might
test.
as well just be talking to Fauci then.
All right, so we're on common ground right there. It's good.
In Dave's defense, I just had him on Daniel's show.
Daniel's show?
Unframe of Mind.
Okay.
You know, the atheist guy with the red beard.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I've been on his show too as well, and it's I had just as much fun as you did.
Daniel, I love you. I know you're gonna watch this. I'm so sorry.
No, we're.
But he's not. He went from having a few people online where he was like, "Oh, you're just an idiot," and he met me. And probably still thought I was an idiot, but I proposed better arguments than anyone he'd ever met. So it's not.
All right. Let's get into it. So,
let's do it.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think you live on a spinning space ball flying through an infinite, impossible space vacuum?
I'm going to give you a good answer because I haven't been shown anything else.
All right. So the answer is you don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gun to head saying either one, but
here we go again. Every friggin' show, you're already a flat earther. You just haven't said it yet.
I am not. I mean,
dude.
I have more evidence.
Let him go.
I have more evidence.
We're going to talk about that evidence. Can I give you a little globe test first, which I was given and I failed miserably at when I first heard about this?
Go ahead.
All right. So if you get everyone wrong, you've matched my score.
Sounds good. And
Enrico has probably educated, so maybe you'll get them all right. How fast is the Earth spinning at the equator?
At the equator, it's, what is it, around 1,100?
Very good. 1,034. Perfect. 1,100 winning answer. How fast is it orbiting the sun?
I don't know the speeds on those ones.
Well, it's 66,600 miles an hour. How fast is it chasing the sun? You don't know that one?
No.
It's chasing it at 500,000 miles per hour. So let's just put that into context. All right. This is the hypersonic sled track. It's going to go by a Mach 8.6. Did you see it?
Yeah.
You did? I didn't. Okay. Watch Mach 8.6 again. Okay.
I mean,
we are orbiting the sun in an elliptical pattern while spinning and chasing the sun. We're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. We're chasing the sun 100 times faster than that. But when we go out in nature, what do you see here?
Exactly what I would expect to see.
How would you?
I mean, if I'm in a closed system.
Wait, hold on.
Well, here's.
Are you in a closed? Are you in a closed system?
You know what? I'm not in not a dome.
Okay. But so wait, an open system. You're in an open system.
I'm in an open-ish system.
Wait. What makes it open-ish? what is the ish part between space and Earth?
By the way, I'm not laughing at you. I just loved open-ish. I'm not laughing at you.
First you started out with closed system. So, but now it's not a closed system. So just what is open-ish? Just define that.
I said closed without thinking because I knew that it would come up as a dome. Open-ish as in we have an atmosphere and we have forces that are holding us down.
What forces are those? What forces?
Gravity, density.
Density is a force?
Density is actually not a force, but density is a good.
So which gravity do you like? Einsteinian or Newtonian?
Oh, I really don't. I don't like any of them, if I'm honest.
Okay, but they're both theories that don't work. They need 96% dark matter. So gravity is off the table.
I like.
So
wait, you said space time.
So let's get into. So where you say that water can lay perfectly still when the high priest of scientism says that it bulges 14 miles high at the equator due to the centrifugal force of just the spin. Okay. So it bulges 14 miles high. This is what your science tells us. That means when an airplane's flying from the United States to South America, it has to triple its altitude just to skim over a hump of water. Because we fly at about 5 miles high. The bulge is 14 miles high. We got to climb another 9 miles just to skim over a hump of water. And you know that never happens because water lays flat. Water is level. Water is perpendicular at rest. There is no curvature. Okay. A ball requires a physical curvature. When I say physical curvature, I mean a horizon that is physical that can block things on the other side of it. And we don't have that. A flat earth is an optical horizon that when you zoom in on it, you can open it up again. A ball is a physical horizon. We don't have that. We have an optical horizon. So getting back
disagree,
to
but that's all right.
All right. Well, how do you disagree?
Well, for one, I mean, if you've seen a water drop, you know that water can curve.
I said large bodies of water at rest. Anything over a gallon of water.
You just said
that's surface.
Water.
That's surface.
Yeah,
that's
surface tension. Right. Surface tension.
You know that doesn't count there.
No, but all right. I mean, you can have water on a ball. A layer of it will sit on a ball. I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
No. Wait. Hold on.
You
can't just say things like that. You can pour water on a basketball, and yes, the surface tension will hold the thinnest amount. But if you made that basketball 1,000 times bigger and filled it with lead so it's more dense than the earth, it wouldn't hold an inch of water. It would hold the same thickness of water, just what surface tension can hold. Large bodies of water lay flat. Absolutely.
We can't test that.
Yes, you can test it.
You can make a ball the size of the earth?
No, you can't make it the size of the earth.
Exactly.
But when it rains on Mount Everest, how come an inch of water doesn't stick on the side?
I have no idea.
Because it's not gravity. There is no gravity. Go ahead.
Yes.
Rico.
I don't want this to turn into what happened. I was already in touch with Nathan Thompson, trying to help him out with his tour. So we had him on the show, and it just got gnarly.
Yeah. So
I don't want this to be like
no problem, Nathan. I'm just gonna be careful what you say because I'm gonna question what you say, and I'll be careful what I say because you should question what I'm saying.
And
I just don't want to ask you. I don't want to get gnarly.
Yeah, and I'll ask one thing that's already kind of taken place. One thing that will get under my skin. Don't say my science says this.
Globe science.
Well, I don't buy everything that they say. I don't buy everything that they sell. Just like you don't have.
No problem.
No problem. He really doesn't. We talk every day. He doesn't buy into.
All right. Let me ask you a question. Just another litmus test. Do we live on a ball in space?
Well, I mean, if we live on a spheroid.
We live on a globe in space. So a ball in space, a globe. Sure.
Yes.
Whatever. Egg shape, pear shape, whatever you want. It's a ball in space. All right. So again, getting back to large bodies of water, this body is at rest. It's not spinning. It's not orbiting. It's not going 10 times and 100 times faster and spinning 3 different directions and moving sideways in another direction, even like millions of miles per hour. It's showing you that the Earth is still. According to globe science, the spin of the Earth makes the water bulge, but that's not true because we've never seen that bulge. And the Maldives, right on the equator, are a foot off the ocean and they don't flood because there's no tides, there's no bulge, there's no nothing. So getting back to my original question, why do you think we live on a globe? Like, give me not your best proof, just one proof that you can think of.
If I have this water, right, it's perfect. It's perpendicular. Well, my hand's a little shaky because I just had a coffee. If I move it like this, it moves, right? You can see it moving. That's what we would expect, right? That's what you're saying would happen to the ocean. Sure.
But you're saying when we're going straight, like on an airplane, and it stays perfectly flat. I get it. If
I put this in a car, I could probably go around a rotary at 25 miles an hour, and it will stay steady. Now, if I go now, of course it will. And if I go now,
not if it's turning.
Don't think if I turn this, if I go at the speed at a speed that is appropriate, I can't get around. If you go, think about this.
Hold on. Let me answer that.
Well, let me clarify it. Can I clarify it first?
Yeah, Matt.
If I'm sitting in a car on a road and I go around a rotary, right? Let's say I go around 25 miles per hour. I don't necessarily feel a pull. If I go around, not at 25 miles an hour. If I go around
at 5 miles an hour, you would
any turn.
I guess it depends on the size of the rotary. If I go 45 miles an hour, I'll for sure feel it.
Okay.
But if I take highway routes, I could drive around a circle around a city at 100 miles per hour, and I'll never feel that pull because it's the size that matters.
All right.
That's what she said.
Matters. Yeah. But it's the angular speed that matters, right? But the linear speed also matters, right? So here's an experiment. Go on a road perfectly straight, get a dinner plate, fill it with water, and then have the car make the slightest turn or the slightest change of speed. And that water is going to slosh, just like this water is sloshing, sarcastic, right off of that plate. And when you think about it, when you're going at whatever speed you're going at, as soon as you turn, that's acceleration. And you'll feel that acceleration. So we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. So that's turning, right? So when we're orbiting, coming around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, well, guess what? When you're spinning away, you're going at 667,000 miles an hour. And then when it spins back, you're going at 665,000 miles an hour, right? You're speeding up and slowing down. That's just 2 of the directions. We're corkscrewing. We're chasing the sun on a curved path. These are all angular speeds, all changes of angles.
But what angle?
Here's the angle. I'm going to explain. Here's the angle.
Okay.
If you're on an airplane with your water sitting on your tray table, not perfectly still, it's jiggling a little bit.
Well, because the plane shakes.
Right. And if the plane takes a turn, the water will slosh to the side. Even in a car going around a rotary at 5 miles an hour, the water will change its level to that turn. Absolutely. And you'll feel it also. But if you want to simulate just the spin of the Earth, you have to remove the outside of the airplane. You have to double its speed, and you have to convince the pilot to nosedive a mile every 2 minutes. Okay? That's what the Earth is doing in just its simplest motion. Then on top of that, you have to go 100 times faster to simulate the other speeds. And then you have this. We can leave this point because I've made my case, and you've got nothing to support that you can show me an experiment where a container is moving and the water stays flat, level, and stationary.
Okay.
What's your next one? You got anything else?
Oh, the way that Rico said this was going to be, it was going to be your presentation and kind of.
I can present so much, but I don't know what you know. You think the Earth is a globe? I'm having a conversation. I find that fascinating. Can you tell me why?
All right.
Go ahead, Rico.
Well, I talked to Matt before, and because he agrees on so many very important points, I kind of outlined this idea that we would do the softball questions and get to the super debate in the second half. But I guess
we can go anywhere you want. I mean, like,
well, I wanted, because this is all I'm pretty out to most of my friends that really know me, but as far as like social media friends. I'm not, and I kind of wanted them to know that what they're going to Google and YouTube about flat Earth is not what we believe. And I kind of wanted to start with where you were with it. You had your Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole podcast. You thought it was ridiculous. I wanted to start there, Matt. I'm not trying to take away from your time. I just
fine. That's what I thought we were going to do too.
That's no problem. I'll tell my story real quick.
Yeah.
I was looking into all sorts of conspiracies, the New York event, the Connecticut event, the Boston event, and everything else. And flat Earth was presented to me, and I laughed at it. And I wouldn't look, and I banned people from my social media for even suggesting that I look. And then finally, another researcher, Sophia Smallstorm, convinced me to look, sent me some videos. I watched the videos. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting, but I'm just going to disprove the flat Earth and prove the globe. And for 2 weeks, I looked and I looked and I looked, and I kept seeing all these videos of things boats going over the horizon. And then I got out my camera and oops, that's not what I wanted. I got out my camera and zoomed in on boats that should have been over the horizon. When you zoom in, you're increasing the angular size. And as you increase the angular size, then you can see something. Your eye can only see a certain angle. Now watch, as I zoom out, this boat's not going over the curve because it's not moving. It disappears from the bottom up. This is due to perspective.
I think you have the wrong image.
Oh, you can't see it. I didn't transition. Ready? Here we go. Sorry about that.
My bad.
So no, thanks for correcting me. So out here, there's nothing. But as we zoom in, we're raising the angular size of the horizon. And as you do, you can start seeing that there's a boat there. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we zoom out, the boat's going to disappear from the bottom up because the waves in the foreground are closer and bigger, and they start taking out the boat from the bottom up. Now, this boat, when you're standing on, if you and I were standing on the beach and that boat was going away, you go, look, it just went over the curve. Can't see it anymore. It disappeared from the bottom up. But I just proved without a shadow of a doubt that it's not being hid by curvature. It's being hid by an optical effect. This is an optical horizon. Do you know how much curvature there should be at 3 miles?
Oh, what is it? 8 something.
8 inches per mile squared. That's good. You're good. 6 foot drop. So that means on a ball, a 6 foot tall person standing at the edge of water on a calm day should see a physical horizon no farther than 3 miles. The water should drop below their ability to see because there's a 6 foot drop. That should be a physical horizon. If there's waves, if there's fog, density in the air, moisture, that horizon can only get closer, not farther. Okay. But we can zoom in on things that should be under hundreds of feet of curvature. Submarine boats, Navy ship boats can light up another boat with a laser beam over 100 miles away. There should be over a mile of curvature between them, a mile, but they can see them, right? But when you look out over the water, this is over the course of a day, no tide here. Watch this shoreline. The shoreline, the buildings, they disappear. Watch over here. It gets bigger, it gets smaller. This is an optical horizon. It has to do with atmosphere, nothing to do with curvature. All right, go ahead.
Will you show Mount Canigou?
Yeah, Mount Canigou. So one of the things is people say, hey, how come I can't look across the ocean and see Mount Everest? How come I can't see Mount Everest? How come I can't see Europe? Like, what are you going to see? So out here, this is the famous viewing spot from France to out over the ocean. And out here is Mount Canigou, 175 miles away. Well, according to Globe Math, from this elevation height to the distance there, the very top of Mount Canigou, which is a big mountain, should be a mile below the curvature. A mile. Should be hidden by a physical curve. Balls require a physical curve that block things. The light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou, if it was there on a flat Earth, just doesn't make it to your eyes because it's not strong enough. That reflected light, like the reflected light you're seeing off me now, if I turned off all my lights, you couldn't see me. But the light can't push through. It's just like looking through a pool to the far end of the pool. You can't see the far end of the pool because the water just becomes too thick. The air becomes too thick. But twice a year on the sun's migratory path between the tropics, it lines up with Mount Canigou, and all of a sudden you can see it because it's being backlit. The sun's light can push 185 miles through the atmosphere. And right here is the top of Mount Canigou that should be a mile below a physical curve, but it's not. It's right here. There's no other explanation. This is not a refraction. The sun hasn't set. It's right there for all to see twice a year. You can see it.
And literally, refraction cannot account for this.
It can't, because the water in front of it would refract. It always stops at eye level. This is absolute insanity. A mirage can't block the sun. It's blocking the sun. The sun is just going beyond it. So there's no other explanation other than the Earth is 1,000 times bigger than they tell us.
Which that's just holding on to a ball. Sorry, Matt.
I have a question on something you said, David. Why can the atmosphere not make the apparent horizon further and only can make it closer? Why do you believe that?
Okay, so that's
a good question.
Well, it's a good question, but when you hear the answer, you're going to be like, oh. So let me grab my props here. So here, let's say this is the Earth, okay? And this is the curve of the Earth. And here's my boat. My fingernail's a boat. And as my fingernail goes over the horizon, it's gone.
Yes.
You zoom in on it, it's still gone.
Yes.
You can't zoom in because you have a physical horizon.
Exactly.
Now, I'm going to explain. So when you're looking out over a flat horizon, or even a topical horizon, the air just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. So we got mountain, and getting lighter and lighter and lighter. There's actually more mountains back here, but you can't see it. It just becomes sky. Now, if it was a little foggier, I wouldn't be able to see this mountain. If it was even foggier, I wouldn't be able to see this mountain. Foggier, I wouldn't be able to see this mountain. Same thing over water. If I'm looking out and there's fog, I can only see as far as the fog will let me, and then the sky meets the water, and that's my horizon. Let's do the opposite. Take all the fog out. Let's remove all of the air, make it perfectly clear. It's still a physical horizon, no farther than 3 miles. A physical horizon is a physical horizon. If I obscure it with atmosphere, yeah, it can be closer, but it cannot be farther. So
you don't believe there's any condition in the atmosphere that, we know light can be bent. We know light can, you're assuming that the light from what we're seeing is always traveling at a straight line. And therefore, yes, it can't.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, so then it can't, why can't there be a condition that can obviously bend it around that curve?
Well, there is. When you see a mirage, it's wavy, it's inverted, it comes and it goes. Like when we look across Lake Michigan, we can see Chicago, and it should be, the very tops of those buildings should be underneath the curve, but we can see it. So they said it's a mirage on the news. You know, it's a mirage.
I've seen that clip.
Right. So we had 2 of our guys.
Believe me, he's seen that clip.
They got on a boat on a clear day when you can see it. They put the camera on it, and they drove 50 miles across the lake.
I told them that.
And it should disappear if it's a mirage, but it didn't. It stayed in the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
So that proves that it's not a mirage. That proves that we see too far. That proves there is no curvature. That proves that we don't live on a ball.
Is it always, and this is, I'm actually asking this. I'm not
sure.
I'm not trying to be a
no, treat him like you treat me every day, brother.
No, don't treat me like that.
I like him a lot better than you do.
Oh my God. That's so mean.
Is it only possible in a mirage that will happen? There's no way, you're saying there's no way that the light that I'm seeing around the curve is just, I'm seeing that light's traveling around a curve because moisture in the air, whatever. And I'm asking, you don't think that's possible at all?
So this the height, this is 1 foot off the ground. The horizon.
I disagree with that, by the way. Well, if you watch that video, he clearly stands up. But that's all right.
Proved to you that's not true. But
is he 59 feet tall? Because there should be 50. There should be 59 feet of curvature here. We can see the horizon way dozens of miles past it. Now, if you believe that horizon is refracting up, stopping at eye level, why isn't the water in front of it refracting? Why isn't this refracting? None of it makes sense.
How is that not a mirage? Look how bent that thing is on the left.
It's not a mirage. It's called
atmospheric density.
It's called atmospheric compression. Okay.
So it's only not a mirage when it's convenient, is what I'm
saying. Oh no, you guys do that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've got a commercial read real quick. I'm sorry. Our endorsement. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, are you a glober, but you don't have a lot of time for your excuses? Introducing Refravity. It's all your excuses and half the time. Refravity. Now back to your show.
No, but I'm saying like that's all right. It's wavy right now, right? If I look at that, there's no difference between me looking at that and what you just described at what a mirage would be. But you have a reason that yours is like that. Why don't you say, oh well, another thing could be that too, or another thing could not be?
We
that?
do.
Well, we do. We have lots of okay. So these are So here's the thing: with an optical horizon, lots can affect it. The physical horizon, you can't make things magically pop up over a physical horizon. Now, right here, these balconies, the bottom of the hotel, the couple floors are missing. All right. And when you zoom out, you can't even see this building. This building is an empty horizon until you zoom in and magically see this building. Again, because you're increasing the angular size. This building is invisible. The entire building looks like it's over the horizon. But when you zoom in, they say, well, the bottom floors are missing. Look at the bottom floors. These balconies are the same height as these balconies, but they're being compressed. This is an optical compression that happens, right?
And they're also wavy. If you look at the line,
because of all the atmosphere,
exactly, which is what you're saying a mirage would do.
No,
but why does that matter?
I'm saying I don't. Because if it's a mirage, then it can just be the light that it can be behind the physical horizon and be an optical and just still be an optical horizon.
Do we need another commercial break?
No. I'm just saying that this is why I don't like using images. Like Rico sent, what was it, the Black Swan or whatever. All images can always be a lie because light can always be manipulated. The same thing I could say. I could bring up an image of a mountain, and this is why we don't do images, because I could bring up a mountain that should be taller, that is smaller because it's further back, not littler, not like from the bottom up and the top up. It's just lower. You can't see the bottom of it. So it's not the perspective thing. I could bring up the sun setting shadows on the bottom of clouds, which should never happen on your model.
It never happens.
Let's stop there.
No, it never happened.
It does happen, David.
No, it doesn't.
Let's stop there.
You're talking about Mount Canago, and
I'm talking about Mount Rainier.
Yeah, Mount Rainier. It never happens. Okay, and we have a brand new video showing you how you're not seeing it. You're not seeing that at all. You're seeing something completely different. But here, if this land wasn't here, you would see the horizon here. Okay, the horizon is really here where the boat is doubling. Okay, it's doubling the trees. This is a mirror reflection. It's called the mirror line, and globers call this Earth curve, but it's not. The boat is still at the same level, and as it's going away, it's literally going to melt into the thickness of the atmosphere because the light can't go forever. Light is like sound waves. You can't hear sound forever. Light doesn't go forever. It peters out, right? And so as this light is petering out, it's not making it to ours. Look what's happening to the boat. It's literally melting into the air. Now, this isn't a mirage coming up over the horizon. It's just the light on the boat going in a straight line, and we're losing view. Not Earth curvature, both still here, level. Level. Here's if you look on that house on I'll go back again. Right here. This house, the horizon's right here.
Yes, that's light going through the atmosphere. Great.
Yeah, it's not curvature.
But what I'm saying is how can you say, all right, that is the mirage there because that's how it's
not a mirage.
It's light going through the atmosphere, but you're saying that if just because it looks the same as that, it's always going to be that, and it can never be a mirage if we're seeing something that's too far away.
So when we see a perfect skyline without wavy buildings, where we can see the lights, we can see the windows, we can see the spires, and it stays there throughout the entire day and night with changing atmospheric conditions, that's not a mirage. That's because we're seeing too far. A mirage changes with temperature and humidity and light. It changes, it flips upside down. Half of it disappears. It's super wobbly. But when we can see, across lakes and large bodies of water, when we can see things like Mount Canago, it's not moving, it's not waving, it's not a mirage. That's not even an argument. That's just understanding that it's not a mirage.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know anything about the Mount Canago one. All I'm saying is that the two others that you just showed, the Black Swan or whatever, and then that other apartment building, they have the wavy look. So that's
like the boats do. That's what happens over distance. Like I was on a beach zooming in my girlfriend, she was about 2 miles down the beach, and her body, she looks like a friggin' genie. Her body's going like this. It's because of all of she's not miraging, she's disappearing into the thickness of the air.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is proving that it's a globe or not, or that it's not flat. All I'm saying is this is why I don't like using images as
all right. So
evidence.
what makes you believe the Earth is a globe?
I mean, well, I take look. Yeah, Rico, what do you got before I go?
Rico's no, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I just want to say something.
Go.
Everyone I met before you, when I first started waking up with books like Octopus of Global Control and Economics of a Hitman, all that. I woke up to this and didn't have proper answers because it sounded so ridiculous. And Dave, I want you to know, I give Matt credit because people would, about when they started, censoring YouTube and Google searches, showing a disc in space and like really retarded stuff like that. Matt is the first guy that hasn't ever been insulting about it. He's been inquisitive about it. He's not, I think his biggest mistakes is going to the Rhetorics and,
I don't even know who that is.
Red's Rhetoric? You told me about him.
No, he's Googling flat Earth and he ends up at the debunking sites. I mean, that's exactly
okay. Professor Dave, but no,
I've seen
heard of Red's Rhetoric through you.
No, you didn't. Conspiracy Cats I've heard of. Simon Dan I've heard of.
Okay, so these are what they want you to hear of. These guys are proven liars.
Well, this is a compliment to you, Matt. So just let me get through it. I misrepresented you with one name, but guys that show up whenever you YouTube Flat Earth, you were the first person that really listened to me and got into it, and you just didn't go, "Oh my God, a disc floating in space and all the other planets are round." And you've been the most respectful. We've got heated a couple times, but you got to admit, I've opened you up to other conspiracies, and you've made me more critical about things that I believe. So I want to make sure, Dave, that you know that.
What other conspiracies have you woken up to, Matt?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say, well, I have, it's not that I didn't look at other conspiracies, or no, it's not that I didn't believe other conspiracies, that I never looked at them.
Would you mind sharing one or two that you're aware of, whether Rico woke you up or you woke up yourself?
Yeah. So, well, being a believer, I've always believed that the earth is evil and that Satan has control here. So I've always looked for evilness, right? So just the idea that government powers aren't necessarily what they say they are, and
satanic pedophiles.
Yeah, that they don't necessarily always have things in our best interest, but the New York thing, for instance, we'll talk about. We can bring that up. That's one that, and that's one that I just
dare you. How dare you? Even so many people died. How dare you?
That's and just we can all agree on this. I believe that is one of the most angering things. And Rico and I were just talking about this because we were talking about it with whatever the word that we can say for this bug is, but people automatically just assume, oh, you don't care that people are dying. And it's like, no. If anything, I care more that people are dying because they're dying for this evil reason that we should be angry about and not just simply
the Great
sad
Reset.
about.
Or maybe they're not dying.
So Dave, I just wanted you to know you're not talking to the last friend I hooked you up with. I just wanted you to know that.
We're good.
All right. So wait, let me just answer your Mount Rainier or your shadow on the other side.
I'm very. This is one that I'm interested in.
What, Matthew? Do you have my app?
I don't. Rico told me not to pay for it. He said you were going to hook me up with a free code.
I'm going to hook you up with a free code. Do you have an Android or an iPhone?
Android.
All right. I will email you. A code. You can download the app. So right here is the web button. You see that button right there? It's the web. It's the spider web. You hit that, and then center. No, that's the biblical flat Earth. Where is it?
No, that's
right
here.
Right here. Yeah.
That'll be a fun one to talk. We can talk about that one.
Dude, that's amazing. That one can blow your mind. Okay. This one right here, debunking the debunkers.
Mm-hmm.
Up comes a playlist. And if you scroll down a little ways, you'll see a whole bunch with the shadows. Okay.
Yes.
And the top one, I think the one that's right on the top right here, I think this is the one.
Okay.
But there's a whole series about what you're actually seeing there. Watch it. Don't believe it. Look at it and make up your own mind. You'll see because the evidence is there. Because basically the bottom line is nobody ever at the top of that mountain has seen a shadow being blown up to that mountain. They only see a shadow going down onto the clouds. And when you're underneath and you see that shadow coming towards you, perspective throws it all out of whack, and you think it's going up because it's getting bigger, right? But once you see it, once it's explained to you, you're like, oh, because I was like wondering how the frig does the shadow get on the clouds, and I was thinking maybe because of perspective, the sun could go down and push the shadow up. We're looking at all things. We're looking for an answer, but the answer is it's not going up. It's all perspective, and you're just misinterpreting.
So I think that's the same video that Rico showed me because this came
up
the
other day.
No, well, it might have been not that same video then because this came up like a year ago in our conversations, and he sent you a message actually, and you sent him a video, and it looked. I think it was like the third one on that list. It was the one that said Mount Rainier on the top.
The newest one by Taboo Conspiracy.
Yeah,
it final nail in the coffin.
The thing is, I know what the peak of Mount Rainier looks like, and you can see light between Mount Rainier and the clouds. It is not above the clouds casting.
No. He addresses that. You're absolutely wrong. I saw it the same way. I'm with you. It looked the same way, but wait until you see the breakdown. This is somebody that took the time, got into it, found other images, and perfectly explains it. Not making up shit. You watch it. How about this? I guarantee after you watch it, you'll be like, okay, I get it. So that's not it. That doesn't prove the Earth is flat. No, it just proves that we're not seeing shadows going up.
Okay, we'll see. Because that one video that Rico sent me, that you sent him, that debunked it. Absolutely, I even showed Rico. We could see the light between the mountain and the clouds. Like there was no way that mountain was above the clouds. So I'm excited. I'm actually excited. I'm not mad. I'm excited to see if there's a new video that there's a new explanation.
You'll see it. So again, in that,
as long as it doesn't say that the mountain's above the clouds, that's all I want to say.
No, wait until you see it. You'll see.
That's what I want to say.
And also, sometimes there's different layers, decks of clouds. Sometimes the farther clouds are higher, the closer clouds are actually lower, and that screws things up. Also, wait until you see the video. Again, all of the debunking videos, tons of them in here. So if you happen to come across something from mainstream, go in here, you'll find the explanation of it. And it's not just going fake, it's Photoshop. It's us actually showing the evidence. It's us actually doing science, not scientism.
Hopefully they did.
Yeah, I brought that up. I brought that up because I just had you on Daniel's show from Unframe of Mind. He's an atheist. Yeah. I just wanted you to know you're not talking. I know he's going to watch this. You're talking to a different guy. Like a guy that's never made me feel stupid for being a flat earther. Like, I just wanted you to know it's not that same argument. This is why I brought that up.
Yeah, we're good. Real quick on that same kind of the same wave of the mountain.
Oh, and we both just met Sam Tripoli Monday night, and we told him we were having you on, and he was like, "Oh, I love that dude." So just so you know, Sam loves you.
Cool. He loves you. I've looked out for this since pretty much seeing those shadows. If you look at the sunrise and sunset, it lights the bottom of clouds the same way. So I'm sure that you have videos on there. Well, I mean, I look at it every single day. So like I know,
and I'm on the water all the time, and I see the bottoms of clouds lit. Okay, and if that was the case, we would see a shadow of the Earth as the sun's going down rip across those clouds, and we never see that. As it goes down, the shadow of the Earth should be reverse swipe over the sky. Taboo covers it in that video, and you'll see that never happens. I have to pull the pictures together. I got to get video of it because I see it all the time. Sun is above the clouds, and the bottoms of the clouds are lit. It's an optical thing, right? Another thing is, like, look at the lights in your ceiling and tell me what shape your floor is, okay? It has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, right? The optics of the sky, you don't know what's going on up there because when you look at optics, things change. Let me show you an optical illusion. Ready? This is an optical illusion.
While you're looking for that, the difference between sorry.
Go ahead.
The difference between sunlight and daylight and how you have images of things being illuminated that aren't, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So here, now I'm going to show you two tables. Are these the same width and length? Are they the same aspect ratio?
They don't look it, but they're definitely at different angles, so you never know.
Okay, but look, they're totally exactly the same size. But unless you can touch them and measure them, you can't say what size they are. So then when you start looking at the sky and be like, well, the stars are going this way and whatnot. Once you see that, like we believe that the sky is liquid. So, and that if there's a dome up there, maybe it's curved. So we got two arrows facing to the left. Now we mix some water into the mix, and something pretty crazy happens where the arrow changes direction. Okay. So again, by looking up in the sky, saying which way things are going, which way they look, it means nothing unless you can touch it and measure it. Right. And look, as I'm moving that way, the arrow is moving in the opposite direction. So again, the optics of the sky, the motions of the stars are no way to prove the shape of the earth. Just so you know, the earth, the moon is going around it this way, right? We're going around the sun the opposite direction. But somehow the sun, the moon, and all of the stars rise in the east, set in the west, no matter where you are on earth. Just like they were spinning over us around a central point.
And the zodiac repeats every 18.5 years.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So in the heliocentric model, right? In the helio crazy, insane solar system, where I talked about the speeds, where we're spiraling, corkscrewing through space, curving, traveling 4.4 billion miles a year, but somehow every year, like if you go out tonight, right now, and mark where the stars are, next year, same night, same time, all of the stars will be in the exact same position. Well, how is that possible with this going on?
Just distance is what they would say.
Just distance.
I know the Glover answer.
Is that what you say?
I'm not in space, so I don't know. But I don't necessarily, I don't put all my eggs in that basket. So if that's an acceptable answer, here's what I'll say on a lot of things is if it's an acceptable answer and it fits with the other things that I do, put kind of more eggs in the basket of, then I'll accept it. So,
but an acceptable answer. So the acceptable answer is it's really far and I'm not in space. So it's an acceptable answer. So I'm gonna go with it.
Well, I mean, you have to admit if the distance is big enough, it will work that way. Your whole theory is based on that.
No, I don't have to admit
that big.
I'm gonna prove to you right now that it's
Can you
impossible.
go to the inverse square law of
I'm gonna keep it simple.
Okay.
Why do things get smaller when they're farther away?
Just the angular perspective or whatever.
That's perspective. Yeah. As they go into distance, they get smaller. Is there a point where they stop getting smaller and they just remain the same size?
I don't know.
Well, why wouldn't you know?
Because I haven't.
You got this. It's right here. It's gigantic. As I move it away, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
Eventually, I won't be able to see it.
Exactly. So, did you know a penny? I think the farthest any human eye can see it in perfectly clear conditions is like 200 yards or something, somewhere around there. And then its angular size is too small for your eye to see. A lit match, I think it's 2 miles or something like that. And then you can't see it. It gets too dim, too small, and your eye can't see it. As things get farther and farther away, they get smaller and smaller. Okay? You with me? This is something that it's not an assumption. It's testably, scientifically provable. So if this was the sun, how big would the Earth be if it was right next to it? According to heliocentrism, tiny little pebble, right?
Yeah, tiny,
a pebble.
Millionth, yeah.
Right. So imagine if the pebble's on the tip of my finger, you're on the top of that pebble, and the sun was this close, and you looked up in the sky. What would you say?
Just the sun,
horizon to horizon. Agreed.
Yeah, just.
And so then we move that. So you see the sun like this. The higher horizon, I move it away 93 million miles. Now the sun is the size of my thumbnail at arm length.
Okay.
You with me? It reduced from the entire sky, horizon to horizon, to the size of my thumb. What happened if I doubled the distance? How much smaller would it get?
I have no idea.
It would get smaller.
It would probably get smaller, but it
Yeah.
would be, it would depend on the
Well,
angles and everything, all that. It depends on the size. It
You
depends on
have no
everything.
idea, but you can actually do the math and find out that the angular size would arguably be too small to see. But you know what? Let's just make it really easy. 24 times farther. It is unarguable that the human eye could see that. It is not even close to a fathom of a chance that the human eye can see that. Well, 24 times the distance of our sun is known as 3 light hours because the sun is 8 light minutes away. 24 times 8, 3 hours. At 3 light hours, it is not an opinion. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is not anything other than scientific fact that the sun would be magnitudes too small to see, ignoring the brightness issue, because the brightness is diminishing by magnitudes, but just ignoring that, pretending the brightness goes. So Polaris, Polaris is our North Star. They tell us Polaris is about 48 times bigger than our sun. So to make Polaris, what distance would Polaris be to be magnitudes too small to see? Well, 48 times bigger, so it has to be 48 times farther. 3 light days times 48 hours. 48 would be 6 light days, right? 48 hours. Yeah. So 6 light days away. 48 times 3 hours is 6 light days. At 6 light days away, there is no argument. There is no question. It is scientifically provable that you could not see Polaris, ignoring the issue where it would be so dim if you could see it that you couldn't see it anyway. Okay. They tell us Polaris is not 6 light days away. It's not 6 light hours away. It's 6 light months away. It's not 6 light years away. It's 433 light years away. And we can see it with our naked eye. That is scientifically provable and possible. And anybody that says, well, that doesn't matter is intellectually dishonest or lazy.
But Dave, we can see back in time.
No, it doesn't matter because
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I got you. So let's say this is the sun. Oh, this is just a light, and the surface of the light is 1 lumen. No matter where it is, if I had a light meter, 1 lumen, 1 lumen, 1 lumen, 1 lumen, right? So that light goes out to here. Well, all of that 1 lumen has to be spread over a basketball now instead of this little thing. So that 1 lumen is going to be a quarter of a lumen. And then if I make it bigger, it's going to be a 64th of a lumen. And that's called the inverse square law. Every time you double the distance, it's 1/4 of the brightness. If we factored that in on the distances that I just described, there would be no light. There would be no lumens. It would be infinite. It would be essentially 0. But we don't even need that because we can't see anything that small. Everything is right here. Now, we're going 4.4 billion miles a year. All of the other stars are moving in their own directions. We're spinning, corkscrewing like a friggin' beehive, right? But somehow, every year, are you familiar with the Georgia Guidestones? You're into conspiracies, right?
Yeah, I am familiar with it.
Oh,
So the Georgia Guidestones, besides being marching order for the New World Orders, we can agree with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah. Not like they have it written in stone, I like to say. Oh, they do. They do. There's a hole in here. And when you look through that hole, what do we see? Want to take a guess? Polaris, time lapse, right? It's been up for over 40 years. Even in the heliocentric model that, hey, we can see forever and everything's so far away, nothing matters. Well, in the heliocentric model, they say in 4,000 years, we're going to have a new North Star. Well, since this was built, it should have moved a 1/2 degree or 3/4 of a degree already. It would have been long out of that hole. It's still there. It hasn't moved. It's always there. Okay. How is that possible in a beehive universe? It's not. Listen, you are a smart guy. You've got some beliefs that you don't want to let go, but you're a smart guy. Think about this. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, and it's 400 times farther away, so they happen to be the same size, right? How am I doing it? There we go, same size. So when we have an eclipse, I can't do it. Whatever. When we have an eclipse, they line up perfectly, okay?
Yep.
The odds of that happening are 0, okay? they're 0.00000000.
If it's random,
if it's random, it could happen once.
No. If it's random is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
I don't believe it's random.
Well, okay. So what keeps everything in an organized pattern?
A creator.
Hey Dave, just before you go,
is that your answer?
That is my answer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Bring up the 3-body problem.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
So I'm just trying to make sure you're on path.
Yeah. So we're told. Well, you know what? I actually like your answer. It's probably the best Glober answer I've ever heard.
No, he believes in the Big Bang and trans-species evolution. Trans-species evolution. Sorry, I've had pizza.
So hang on. So all of the planets and the sun, the sun is holding on. Do you believe in the Big Bang?
Yeah, but
I believe the Big Bang was the voice of the God.
Yeah, instead of a whole lot of nothing.
Right. And I think
everything,
science just
it was
changed.
the voice of
God. I think science just put out an article the other day saying they don't believe in the Big Bang anymore. So the science has changed, just like this science has changed.
But he had the best excuse, though. Instead of a whole lot of nothing became everything, the voice of God. Like,
right.
I gotta be honest with you.
Listen, that's the best answer I've heard. So here's the problem.
I loved you, homie.
Our sun is a burning ball of gas in a vacuum. That's a scientific impossibility, but let's just pretend. And it's holding on to all of these planets all the way out to Pluto, which is so far away they can't even decide if it exists. Okay. And then all of the planets are holding on, their gravities are holding on to moons, and the sun ignores the moons, right? So the sun is holding on to the earth is falling around the sun while the sun is flying through the universe, and somehow it just stays with it. Okay. And the moon is held on to the earth. But when the moon comes around the earth towards the sun, how come it doesn't speed up? And when it goes away, how come it doesn't slow down? The sun's gravity ignores the moon. This is ridiculous. Okay. Gravity is gravity in the gravity model, right? It should screw everything up. When all of the planets line up, they should tug on each other just a little bit. When we have an eclipse, the chances of it happening are I can't even say the number. It's like quintillion, sextillionths of a percent. But then it happens again every year. There's eclipses every year around the earth in different places. And the chances of that is like if you won the Powerball every day for a year, you have much better odds at doing that. Okay. By using just quick pick, right? But it's worse than that. Every 18 years, all of the eclipses repeat again. So yes, your answer, a creator, but a creator with the helio nonsensical model makes no sense. The 3-body problem is the science can take the world's best supercomputer, make a sun, got a ball here, you got a planet, put it in orbit, and it can predict what it's going to do forever and ever and ever and ever. You add one more body in there, something going around the sun, or a moon going around the planet, and they can only predict what it's going to do for a very short time, and then it goes into chaos mode, and they have no idea what it's going to do next. Okay? It only can predict a little bit into the future. Meanwhile, our solar system alone has like 80 bodies in it or something. All right? And we're 4.4 billion miles a year, times 76 years, and then somehow Halley's Comet comes back and finds us. How did it find us? Okay? It's none of their stories work. Go.
What's the machine that they found and was able to recreate that predicted the eclipses in the 18.5 year cycle?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's called the
some island.
The Antikythera mechanism.
Yes. Have you heard of that, Matt?
Is that like I've seen something where they found like an old, and they call it a computer. It's not really.
Yeah.
I didn't know they knew what it did, or that I don't know if it's the same thing, because the one I'm thinking of, they don't know what it does.
I haven't done a deep dive either.
So
just people.
Here are some paths of some eclipses, right? Over I think it's over 1 year. So here are the paths, but when you put them on a flat Earth map, it makes a beautiful circle. What are the odds of that? Pretty weird.
I will say there's other things. I'm gonna probably help you out, not help you out. You know this already. There's other things that do that as well, like wind patterns and things. Correct? That if you put it on a flat Earth map, it does make.
Oh, absolutely, beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole you know, the trade what's it called, the trade winds, or not the trade winds,
no, listen,
the jet stream. It goes up and down. Stream, Put it on a flat Earth, it makes perfect sense.
Matt has seen everything. We the only reason why our podcast took a break is because we weren't working together. But I came at him with everything, and
here it is. Here's the Antikythera mechanism.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
they X-rayed it. They got an MRI, and they figured it out, and they built it, and it predicts where the planets are going to be, the phases of the sun and the moon, their positions, and all of the eclipses. And so this was, you know, a couple thousand years old. They believe. Again, who knows how old it is? It was pretty old, but they're making up this stuff up. You know, all of the people from history that they say, you know, founded heliocentrism. They're all made up. These people, in my opinion, never existed. Especially Aristophanes, who was never mentioned until into text, but until like the mid 1900s.
What about Archimedes?
No, I told him about that, and I was hey. What believe me, we talk. We work together.
Anything before 1800 is pretty much a lie, because all of our history is a lie. I mean, they were teaching flat Earth up into the mid 1900s here in the USA.
I've shown them. Believe me, I've been working on.
I met a guy in Mexico just the other day. He's 74. He said in the 60s they were teaching flat Earth still in public school here in America, and then they were teaching both flat Earth and round Earth. And then all of a sudden, they took it out. You know, Admiral Byrd supposedly went out over Antarctica, said there's more land, undiscovered resources for the whole world. And they said, oh, don't go there. We're going to the moon. Everyone look over here. And then we went to the moon. And then during the, you know, one of the moon landings, people were calling up the network going, hey, you preempted I Love Lucy. Can you play I Love Lucy? They were tired of seeing the moon. So they left the moon and they started some wars. And then they did the COVIDs. And now they're doing another war. You know, it's all about controlling our mind. The ball, Matt, is total mind control. It is the way that they control us. It's Neo at the beginning of the Matrix. He's plugged into the Matrix. He doesn't know what the world is. He's in a prison for his mind, and that's what the globe is. The Earth has so much more opportunity for us, but they don't want us to know that. They don't want us to know who we are, where we are, the power of our mind. They don't want people that haven't found the creator to find the creator. They don't, because once you understand that we are in an intelligently designed system that cannot be, you know, like in the heliocentric model, you believe a creator created it or a Big Bang created it. In the flat Earth model, there's only a creator. There's no other choice, right? These evil Satanists don't want. Well, there isn't. In the flat Earth model, it's intelligently designed. Who that creator is, that's a whole nother story. Yep. But there's a creator.
But I would argue that if you were a rational thinker, that either model requires a creator.
Oh, I agree. But if you're a rational thinker and you looked at the heliocentric model, it's impossible. The second law of thermodynamics says you can't have high pressure next to low pressure. Things will just disperse. And you don't get offended. Globe believers believe that gravity is holding the air down, right? Right.
To an extent, yes.
It doesn't go into space, which is a Tor 17 vacuum, which we can't even create on here, Earth. All of the air should just be sucked into space and equalized. But they say gravity's holding it down, and gravity's stronger on the ground. So if I had a propane tank and I drilled a hole in it, what happens? Whoosh, all the air goes out. High pressure goes to lower pressure, right? If I had a shoebox filled with air, I sucked all of the air out of a room and I took off the top of the shoebox. According to globe theory, that air should stay in the box because it's being held down by gravity. But we know that doesn't happen.
I would disagree that that's what should happen.
Okay,
because we're basically at I mean, if you're opening a container, you're staying at the same level essentially. So it comes out, but you're not changing your altitude horrendously.
At what altitude does low pressure not suck high pressure out.
It's not about a low pressure right next to a high pressure where there's a ton of particles that are going to get sucked right out, because there's not a ton of particles the higher you go. Things are concentrated towards the bottom. There's the difference, the distance between particles by the time you get up towards the vacuum. Is completely.
So if I had a container and I sucked almost all of the air out of it, then I put that container in a bigger container and I sucked all of the air out of it, and then I opened that other container. In your theory, that low pressure should stay in that container, but it doesn't. There is no example anyone can show where high pressure can stay next to low pressure without a physical container at any altitude, at any pressure, at any amount. If I had a box that had 5 molecules of oxygen in it, and I opened it up in a box that had 0 molecules of oxygen, they're going out. They're going to disperse. Okay.
But here's the thing. We can't recreate. We're not recreating the effect that gravity has. You can't do it. You can't do it in a small
gravity's here. So high, hold on. Up high where you say it's thin air and then space, gravity is less according to the heliocentric model. Well, you got more gravity down here. And we can recreate what you say is up there, thin air and vacuum. And we can put that vacuum, we can put a box, we can get a box that has air that's equivalent to 100,000 feet, whatever you want, just before space. So we have a very super low pressure box, and then on top of it we put a box that's not even as much of a vacuum as space, and then we poke a hole in between, equalized instantaneously. There is no example ever, anyone that can do anywhere in any lab anywhere that will allow you to break that law, other than the globe and Jupiter, a gas planet floating in a space vacuum, all mumbo jumbo scientific nonsense.
I would just say, I just think that we can't look at it either way, is what I would say. Just because we can't recreate the Earth, obviously on the Earth, we're on the Earth. Here's my question to you, just while we're on this same topic. Why, if we're talking about containers, if I take a container and I put a gas in it, it equally disperses throughout the entire container.
Sure.
Why is that? Why don't we see that? If we have a dome, we have a dome.
No, that's actually not true. That's not true, because when you have pressure in a container of pressed gas, the heavier gas will settle on the bottom. It'll be lighter on the top.
Okay.
But it's in a container,
which is what we would be in under a dome, correct?
Okay. Welcome to Flat Earth. Welcome to Flat Earth.
No, I'm saying, but we don't see that.
Yes, we do. We see heavier compression, heaviest air down here, thinner at the top of the mountains, but it's in a container. Without a container, you can't have air pressure. You can't have a gradient of pressure. Pressure needs a container.
We see less air, not less dense air.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
We see less dense air. Dense air.
There's less dense elements.
Yes.
Plus, there's actually just less of them.
Yes.
So why wouldn't?
No.
There is definitely
there's
less
other
of
gases up there. There's hydrogen. There's helium.
Exactly, and then you get all the you keep going up, and there's less and less and less.
But there's no. See, you believe it goes less and less and less to vacuum. You have no proof of that, and you can't do anything to show that. No one has ever shown that. We say it mimics a container of gas. You put a whole bunch of gas, pressurized gas in a container. It's heaviest at the bottom. It's lightest at the top, and there's a container. There is a container. You put a hole in that container, all of the air is gone. It equalizes instantly.
So you say that it's full all the way.
It's saying. Full up to where our atmosphere ends, and there's a container. Now. So what is that? What is the dome? Okay. Well, if you watch a pot of water start to boil, there's a bubble on the bottom. Now place yourself as a tiny little guy in that bubble. You're on a flat surface. There's water above you over a dome, but there's really no physical dome. There's just air pressure and water. So, is that what, are we under a high pressure system that holds the waters above out? I think there's some truth to that. And when we have super low pressure, we get rivers of water coming down through the sky. Like in a tornado, super low pressure, tons of water. Where's that water coming from?
Clouds, but I mean, I know that's so real quick, let me just clarify. You're saying you're not 100% on a solid dome.
I am. I believe there's a solid dome.
Okay.
I am, but I'm not speaking for all flat earthers. Some flat earthers say there's water. Some people say it's frozen. Some people say it's energetic. I don't know. I haven't touched it. I can't tell you.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is we're not adjacent to a vacuum.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because you said the water bubble when you're boiling, and so
I say there's several explanations, but the only one that doesn't work is a vacuum next to high pressure without a container. There is some sort of container, something holding the pressure in.
If the air is full, if it's full,
there's no place that it's not full.
We're both kind of taking that on faith.
Yeah, well, I'm showing you scientifically. You show me any experiment that can have high pressure next to low pressure without them equalizing in any direction, height, pressure amount, and I'll say, all right, you have a good argument, but no one's ever been able to do it.
Yes, I would agree that no one's been able to do that, and I already have stated why no one would be able to do that. But my only thing my point of contention, but it wasn't really, is you just have to assume that under the dome it's completely full because that's how gas operates.
It's definitely thinner. We had a tank of gas where it was very light gas at the top and it was liquid gas at the bottom. Go look at your propane tank. There's gas at the top and liquid at the bottom. Okay, that's a density layer.
Yes, that's not what I'm. And I couldn't explain this to Nathan either because he was getting caught on it.
You know what happens when you bring water up really high? It boils and evaporates.
Yeah.
Okay, density layer. Okay.
But I'm not talking about the actual, like the elements that are, all right, there's less dense elements up high, more dense elements down low. Does that make sense? That I think we can all agree that that's just the way it's going to work because we know how density works. I'm saying the actual amount is less as we go higher. Whereas there's the huge gap, like the air is not, the gases have not.
Yeah, there's more pressure down here. There's more pressure. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, because it's stacked on top of each other, right? But
there has to be things on top of it to stack on top of it.
There has to be a container. There's pressure. Okay.
Yes, but the container has to pressurize molecules to pressurize the molecules.
Let's move on. There has to be a container. Globe doesn't have a container. All right. But we're running out of time. So any other topics that you want to touch on, like any other, I'm still looking for a reason that says we live on a globe, not a flat Earth.
You mentioned that you don't like to use stars, the same as I don't like to use images. Because I was going to bring up the Southern Hemisphere and stars.
Yeah, what about
them? Well, just the consistency of I can use the Southern Cross to navigate whether I'm in New Zealand, Argentina, or South Africa, and it's there every night. If on your map, it would have to travel so much faster to get there because it's got way more area to cover on the outside.
It does.
It's not observed that it's going faster, and it's still usable.
It actually is observed going faster.
That much faster? I mean, you're looking at almost 2 times faster. It would have to be.
So yeah, absolutely. So this is a harder concept, and you need a lot of visuals, and I have them on the app. But what happens is we see through what we call our atmospheric dome of vision, and that's not a theory. You can only see so far in every direction, and that creates a dome of the limit of your vision. And the stars and the sun and the moon that we see appear within that dome. So when I'm moving a light over a glass dome, whether I'm making a big circle or a small circle, you're gonna, wherever you are underneath that dome, you're gonna see 180 degrees of that movement. Whether it's whether it's out here, but 180 degrees takes the same amount of time. Like on the clock here, if I move the sun out, okay, I'll move it in. And so when it's over the Tropic of Cancer, it's moving slower in miles per hour, if you will, but the angular speed is the same.
Exactly. Yep.
When I move it out. Okay. So here's the thing. In December, when you're in South Africa, southern parts in South Africa, when the sun sets, 5 minutes later, it's pitch black. Where are you located? What state?
Me? Oh, Tennessee.
Tennessee. 5 minutes later, it's pitch black. On a ball, pay attention, on
I'm
a
listening.
ball, that would dictate somebody of an equal northern latitude that would be under the Tropic of Cancer. So that would be Miami, if you will. 6 months later, they should have the same effect. When the sun sets in Miami in June, it's light for 2 more hours. That's because the sun is moving slower.
Perspective,
okay?
yeah.
It's moving slower,
moving.
and the bottom part doesn't go away. Let me show you something with sunsets. So when the sun moves away, it moves over. It's just moving away. So let me just show you. When it moves away, we think it goes underneath. Here we go. So street lights moving away, sun moving away. Okay. And now on a globe, we think that we're spinning and this is going down underneath and coming back up the other side. But it's really just moving away. But when it gets down here, it doesn't go below. It's just getting farther and farther away. And it that would on a flat earth kind of say that it has to stop. All right. So here is a sunset that I filmed 7 times actually. And it's something very interesting happened. Where is it? It is coming up. Here it is. All right. So I got my drone up. Super clear day. It's below freezing out. No humidity in the air. I'm looking west from the East Coast here. And the sun was up here and it went down, 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 down. If we were spinning, it would just keep on going. But it didn't. It went down, 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 just like those street lights. And then it stopped. And it sat there for 10 minutes. And instead of going below, its light got blocked by the perfectly clear air, and it could no longer push through. Show it.
This is
right
super
here.
sped up. Super sped up.
Yeah.
Right? This is over. It's still there. You can't see it. It did. Now, if we were spinning, it's going down, down, down. It didn't. It sat here for 10 friggin' minutes. 10 minutes. Now, my friends at the beach, they saw the sun disappear from the bottom up 10 minutes earlier because they were looking across 5 miles of water. At the other side of that water was a hill and trees 150 feet tall, but the tops of those trees looked like they were at eye level. So the tops of the trees are really up here, but in the distance, they look like they're here, and the sun just went away and disappeared behind them. Okay?
Hey, Dave, can you pull the those 3 images side by side again?
Which the beginning?
The 3 sun. Yep, the 3 sun. 3 suns right there.
Yeah.
This isn't like a, hey, I don't believe you. I just have a question. Why do we see? Do you have any idea of why we see the dark that looks like it should be behind the sun, but we can see through the sun?
Right here?
Why can we see through the sun to the right?
You're not seeing through it. See, that's just like
that's why. Yeah,
thing.
I'm asking.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's just because the sun is going into. Just imagine if it was fog. It's going into the fog, and now you're seeing the fog in front of the sun. You're just seeing the sun disappear into like somebody walking into a fog. They just disappear. That's what you're seeing. But this day was literally, I call it 9/11 clear. It was like the clearest. It has to be clear. There has to be no humidity, because if there's humidity, this atmospheric deck of opacity appears.
It'll block it, yeah.
And then it blocks it. And then when it makes that, again, it does this. It disappears like that. Okay. Now, sometimes when it's really super clear, this is one that was filmed in Afghanistan, and the sun literally it just sat here. This is sped up again. It's just clearly going away. It's going away, and it's getting smaller because there's no magnification. There's no atmospheric magnification. It's just going, and it's taking its light with it.
And Paul McCartney's there to sing us through it.
Yeah, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. And that same thing. This is in Bulgaria, super clear, slightly elevated view. And the sun, that cameraman is not falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. The sun is just going away, and it takes its light with it. We're not spinning. We're not on a
Could be
spinning space ball.
Hey,
dude,
so,
Matt, if you know how much I love you.
That was for your comic relief.
Matt, listen. You know that there's evil bastards in this world. You know that they're doing some crazy shit. This is how they control us. Because if they can convince you that you're spinning out of control, lost in space, they can convince you. Not you, because you're awake and aware to a lot of this stuff.
He's very awake.
Yeah, I get it. But they can convince most of the world that a little boogeyman is gonna jump in their mouth and nose and kill them. Okay.
Here's all nonsense. I'm not. Listen. I'm not. Here's my, and I understand why it's for me that I have a trouble seeing the why, and it's because the why didn't work for me. So I'm coming into this already aware that it's harder for me to see the why. Does that make sense?
Well, they're hiding free energy. They're hiding the creator. You found the creator. God bless you. They're hiding spirituality. They're hiding more land. Have you shown them more land, Rico?
As an idea, but because speculation,
they're hiding free energy.
He has a much higher education than me, so I try to stick to what I can try to prove.
Well, again, that's actually very good, because when you go into the no more land thing, we are speculating, but there was some interesting maps that were found. This map was found supposedly 10 centuries old. Could it be fake? Maybe. But it shows like 30 or 40 continents beyond Antarctica.
And I had him look into
it doesn't even have Antarctica.
Antarctica's right here.
I had him.
All of this is Antarctica.
It's just the lines.
That's the shoreline of our world. Antarctica is the shoreline of our world, right? And interesting, when Admiral Byrd went out there and he did an interview, why does he have a clock with a flat Earth map behind him?
I know the answer for that. For him, not me.
Yeah, the sky's a clock. Maybe we're here. Maybe there's extra territory out here, extraterrestrials in the outer space. Okay, why are all of the biggest telescopes in the world owned by the Vatican, for one? Why are they in like Santiago and South Africa and New Zealand? And they're all looking out. They're all looking out south, right? You asked about the stars.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get back to.
Let's get back to that.
You're way over time. Are you cool?
I got a few more minutes. So if I turn the stars on, so let's pretend this over here. Let's pretend this constellation is the Southern Cross. Okay.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting for it to come around. So here we're in Australia, and in Australia it's midnight, and we can see the Southern Cross. Well, 12 hours later, they couldn't see the Southern Cross in Santiago because it was noon. But 12 hours later, when it comes around, it's midnight here, and now they can see the Southern Cross.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's here, well, somebody in Santiago can see it here, and somebody in Johannesburg can see it here because it's spun around. That's how it works. All of the stars rise in the east, set in the west. And the stars reset every year. The stars are going to lap the sun once a year. So the sun will slowly fade back into each constellation for about a month each. And that's how the sun is in each constellation for the period of time that it is.
So you don't have, obviously, you can't have a, like the stars in the Southern Hemisphere are not going around a celestial pole, whether it's not a star,
there isn't.
No.
But again, the way
it would look like one.
No.
So hold on. No. This is one of the hardest things. So this is, I get your homework for you. I'm going to give you the free app. You hit the frequently asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then right here, you hit Antarctica. You hit Southern Star Rotation right here. Okay. This one. And when you click that, up come a whole bunch of videos explaining what's going on. And there's one this Australian guy did where he broke it down and showed how we can see the Southern Cross, why they go in circles. But there's a whole bunch of videos in here. And again, people go, where do you get your information from? YouTube? Where'd you learn to fix your car from? YouTube? Your plumbing?
My dad's a mechanic. So that's how
he went on YouTube and figured it out.
Well, no, before YouTube, but yeah, I get
So there's all sorts of information there. Check it out and then go verify it yourself and then do your own experiments. Don't believe anything I say. Go ahead.
Real quick. So you are on board with it is perceived, just because of like what you said, when it turns around, it is perceived to be a dome. And when you're in the southern hemisphere, if you took a time lapse, it would look like it was rotating around something.
Well, yeah, it has to do with the optics of the sky. Again,
Yes.
this guy did a great experiment. I think it's one of the top videos in that list. And when you see it, it doesn't. You again, it just made a model that works. So,
Well, so I think
circumnavigation works on a globe and a flat Earth, but only east and west. Circumnavigation on a flat Earth doesn't work south. You can't go south and end up back in the north, and no one's ever done it. Very, very strange, right?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, because I think like Rico and I had this conversation got brought up just a couple weeks ago, and his point was that it's not perceived that way. But I think I don't know that he necessarily said that. He just said that it's not doing that. But you're saying that it is seen that way. Like if I took a time lapse, it would look like that, but it has to do with the optics, not necessarily what it's doing. And I can't argue that, because I'm not there to.
You got to back up a little bit. My baby just threw a little fit.
You're fine. We were just talking about the southern stars, and you know how the other day we were having that conversation, and you said that they don't look like they're going around a southern celestial pole, but he's just saying they do look like they're going around it. They're just not. It's just
there's not a pole star.
No, there's not a pole star. There's a point, but there is a point that they go around, and it's because of the way we look.
I'm here and I can speak for myself. Okay, so the one thing is the direction. If you're at the not hemisphere, if you're in the south, if you look one direction, you'll see one thing. You look the other direction, you'll see another thing. But there's things deeper than I can understand that would also work out. Like he showed you the water, you filled that up. Like the optics could be messed up too. All I meant was I don't think there's a southern
pole star.
Pole star thing.
Yeah, I agree. There's not. There isn't.
I never said that there was either.
Let me ask you.
No, I'm not saying you were.
I want to cover one more thing before we have to wrap it up. So if this is the globe, and here's the equator right around the middle. We got the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. If you could pick any two locations in the northern hemisphere, any combination of any two locations, and you were going to take a flight from one of those locations to the other, would the flight ever have to cross below the equator?
It shouldn't.
No, it doesn't. And it never has. No flight going from any northern location to any other northern location crosses the equator.
Okay.
So we're on board. How about any southern location to any other southern location?
I don't know if that's the same answer. Just because
why wouldn't it be the same answer? If we're on a globe, right? Southern location, right? Why would you go into the north when you could just cut across the bottom?
Because you can't cut across the bottom.
Well, you don't even need to cut across the bottom. You can just stay at the same latitude. Like you want to go from Santiago to Australia, you just come around. You just come around like that, right there. Don't go near Antarctica, right?
Does it not?
No, it doesn't. So here's some southern flight routes. Here's the equator, right? And for some reason they go all the way up to Los Angeles before they go down to Mexico City. Why didn't they just go straight to Mexico City when every passenger on this plane wanted to go to Mexico City? And the answer is because they went from Auckland to Los Angeles to Mexico
That's
City.
Not two southern hemisphere cities.
Well, how about this one?
All right, there you go. Thank you.
How about this one? Right? Montevideo to Perth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why did they go again to Los Angeles? Well, here we go. They come across, they go up, and they cross the equator twice. Why did they go from the southern to the north back to the south? Makes no sense. But on a flat Earth, it works out perfectly, right? Again, here, same thing. Why are they going all the way up to Los Angeles? Why do they do that, right? Why do they make these ridiculous routes? They go all the way up, all the way down when it's a straight line on a flat Earth. Makes perfect sense. Here's one that'll get you, okay? So sometimes there's an emergency that happens on an airplane, right? And they need to land the plane immediately. But they land in really funny places, right? They're going from New York to Hawaii, and they went 1,000 miles out of the way to land in Seattle.
Well, is that
good?
Is that I'm just asking, is that drawn the actual flight of what the plane was supposed to do? Or
Well,
because I know
sir.
they don't fly
No.
in straight lines.
No, well, they say they could go the Great Circle route, and so they go, this curving route. Well,
Yeah.
how come that route is always a straight line on a flat Earth map, right? They make this shit up, man, so bad it's unbelievable. But here's the thing: every time there's one of these emergency landings, they went 1,000 or more miles out of the way to go to Moscow. Moscow is right on the straight line between the origin and the destination, right? Another one, right? They went all the way from Dallas to Beijing. They went to Calgary again, like 2,000 miles out of the way, and it's right
But
there.
staying over land,
Stop
if you want to give them excuses. No,
Dude.
I'm not.
Dude.
Dave, sorry. What I'm doing is
Okay, show me what point. At what point? I forget exactly where the emergency was, but at what point would it make sense to go to Calgary when they're going to Dallas? Why wouldn't they stop in California? Why wouldn't they stop in any of these? They went way the fuck out of the way.
Only if they were already over the land. And I'm not saying that's a good reason. I'm just giving you what the mainstream reason would be, I guess, which you already know. That's all I was saying.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, again, way out of the way, right on the line, every single time. Bad.
It's before I found out there was a book of 16, but I showed Matt one, and before I had the ability to come back, before I had proof, he was like, yeah, I saw what you were talking about, and I saw it completely debunked. And we kind of stopped arguing because we weren't getting along very well, and we were getting along with other truths. And he was like, yeah, I saw what you were talking about, and it makes perfect sense on a globe. And now there's 17. Well, he'll explain to you, I'm guessing, but now there's 17. There's 16 there in this one, but it was the one where they landed in Alaska, I believe, Matt.
I think so. The specific one that you showed me, and it similar to that last one. Now I don't have an answer for all of those, obviously.
No. I'm just talking about the one where you're like, hey, I looked into it.
It was
and
just
you're
similar
full
to
of
that.
shit.
I don't know if I said that, but it was just similar to that last one.
No, you definitely didn't say that.
I think it was just similar to that last one, or the second to last one, whichever one, where they would have just been staying over land, and that was my only. I don't think I was like, "Hey, gotcha." That's obviously not.
No.
Let me show you.
Dude,
let me show you
being
another
sarcastic.
one.
You were very kind. I'm trying to add humor to the podcast.
Let me show you. Let me show you another one. And this is one interesting. It's gonna be hard for you to first follow. So, Santiago to Australia, they should just cut across here, which is even closer on a globe because it's kind of wrapped around. Yep. But they go all the way up here, all the way across and all the way down. On a flat Earth, it's pretty much a straight line, right? So a lot of flat earthers didn't believe that trip actually was possible nonstop, because there is a nonstop for this, okay? Mm-hmm. And so Max Egan, a non-flat earther, got on an air. He said he's flying from Santiago, and we did a 14-hour or 16-hour live stream where he got on the plane and we tracked the plane and we kept the live stream live. And then when he landed, he proved that he landed, rejoined the live stream, and he took compass readings along the way. So now let's look at compass readings. Here is where are we going? Let me just do one thing here. There it is. So the way the compass works is, where do I have it? Circumnavigation.
Yeah,
okay.
You're backwards.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So circumnavigation. So here's the North Pole. Mm-hmm. All lines going, that's north. East and west are circles around the north. That's true on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. You understand that?
I get that. Yep. Okay.
And south is every direction away. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So remembering that. So now we look at, where did it go? Santiago to Sydney. All right. So here, Max expected to go west, and get to Sydney. Mm-hmm. But if he went this route, this would be north. And then about here, he'd start going northwest because he's kind of following this line. And right here, it would be west just for a split second because you can't go in a straight line west. And then it would be southwest, southwest, and pretty much south. And when he did his tracking, it went like this. So he was flying, and these green lines are west, 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 west. This purple line is, no, not west. This is north, right? North, 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 northwest, pretty much. This purple line here is the only second he was going west, because if you're going in a straight line, you're going south.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it started going southwest, 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 basically south, and he got there. And so we charted it, and coincidentally, it works perfectly on a flat Earth. Coincidentally.
Yeah.
And charted.
Again, if they wanted to use the excuse of going over land, that would still apply. And would you agree that flights are man-made? That's obviously, we could choose to go that way.
Yeah, NASA runs.
What about acts of nature? Right? If you there, and this is, I had an episode, or not an episode, but I had something happen right before this, and I was going to have this data on hand, but I didn't have time to grab it. It was what? Well, Rico, I showed it to you though when it came up. What was it? Was 2010.
No, you did. I'm teasing, brother.
It was 2010, I believe, and it was the earthquake out in Chile, right off the coast of Chile.
Oh, actually, this is one that I really want to hear.
And there's all over the world, there's points, there's places that read seismic activity. You understand that, Dave? Like, so all over the world, they read seismic activity. Well,
this fucks me up too. This guy actually is a really good deal.
Took
seismographic.
He basically just went. There's an archive of all of those. I talk a lot with my hands. I'm sorry. There's an archive of all of that data that they collect. So he took this earthquake from 2010, and he basically found when it hit each one of these laboratories.
Yeah.
And then charted it on a map, and it worked like a perfect.
And there's also stories of that. There's also stories where they couldn't figure out how the wave got to Hawaii before it got somewhere else, unless you looked at it on a flat Earth map, and then it makes perfect sense. Also, the National Geological Association is basically run by NASA. These are the controllers of the world. All of the people that run these agencies are.
This wasn't an agency.
This wasn't GPS.
I will say this wasn't an agency though. This was. I mean, so you're saying that all of the data that are in these laboratories are manipulated. Like if an earthquake happens, and I'm just watching the different places light up, like I want to know how is it manipulated that those places, because it's not.
No, a lot of them. But
that's a solid question.
You don't know where it took, where it happened. You don't know if it came from multiple places. And there's so much that we don't have our hands on that we really can't tell. But if you look at these agencies, they all have the UN, they have the flat Earth map as their logo. These are the people that run all of this stuff all around the world. Okay.
Yeah. Could also be top of the world, but I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. No, I mean,
flat Earth.
It works.
Welcome to flat Earth.
No, sorry, brother. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing.
Right. And then just back to the flight routes for a second. And a lot of times the direct flight from Sydney to Santiago are canceled because the winds don't cooperate. And normally these winds are in like beautiful, perfect circles, right? These pink winds here, these are going like 200 to 300 miles an hour, right? So sometimes they will fly out here and take these winds. And other times they'll come in here when they're coming the other way, and they'll catch these winds going in the opposite direction. Sometimes when these flights go, there's a 5-hour difference. They get there 5 hours late. Like, what happened? Well, the winds weren't cooperating. And also, the only plane that does the direct non-flight is a special plane. It has 7 layers of heat-resistant paint on it, and it's only flown by a small handful of military pilots. What's up with that? Sounds like it goes a little faster than they're telling us. You get a plane, maybe goes 700 miles an hour, 200 mile an hour tailwind. The times work out perfectly on a flat Earth.
So you're talking just the Santiago to Sydney.
I'm talking,
right?
those longer flights. And again, there's flights that they can't take, that they won't take. One of these pilots came out, and his video, of course, was pushed to the top of YouTube. He's in the debunking of the debunkers. He's like, I will fly you on my airline. Just charter my airline, and we'll take you from Buenos Aires to Santiago or whatever. And we called him up. Jaron from Jaronism called him up, said, okay, let's do it. He goes, well, you got to go book the flight. He goes, well, give me the name of your company. We'll book the flight. He goes, oh, what am I, a travel agent? Totally backed out. He wouldn't do it because he can't do it. He can't. No one's ever flown over Antarctica. No one's ever gone circumnavigated south. Nobody has proven anything. If you want to prove that the Earth is flat or a globe, this is all, science is, they're like, the flat earthers are dangerous. They're ruining education. They're doing all this stuff. But if you really want to prove that the Earth is not not flat, get 2 airplanes, bring them to the base over here. A bunch of us get on, and we just go this way. Another plane goes this way. We just follow the coastline, 1,000 feet in the air, and both planes should meet 6,000 miles later because it's up 12, 13,000 miles around. Bam, they both meet, but it doesn't work that way. The Earth is much bigger.
Well,
and
no one's done it.
No one's done it, right?
Yeah, so you can't say it doesn't work that way. Just no one's done it.
Well, no one's done it. Because, yeah. So Captain Cook. Yeah, Captain Cook did. It took him 2.5 years, and he went 13,000. No, he went over 60,000 miles.
Yeah, so
60,000 miles.
Have you read all his logs
before?
Have you read all Captain?
Yeah, and the final ones don't look like they were written by him. But
you're right. But
his logs do log in 13,000. I mean, 3.5 years and 60,000 miles. One last thing is there's a thing called the Antarctic sailboat race, and these sailboats are the finest sailboats. These sailboats literally they go 20, 30 miles an hour, maybe even 40 miles an hour, 40 knots, whatever. They go super fast. And they go all the way around. I think they cut down over here, and they cut around. I think they cut above Australia. I'm not sure. But they're out 50 degrees south, not 60 degrees. They're not out in beyond where anyone's allowed to go. And they use GPS to track, and they are assuming they're going maybe 20,000 miles because they're is it 20,000? Yeah, 20,000 because they're not as close to Antarctica as they should be. But when they do the calculations, the winner of the race ends up going an average of 2 or 3 miles an hour. Okay, 2 or 3 miles an hour. Or is that just the math dividing up a much bigger number to say they went a much shorter distance? Okay, 2 to 3 miles an hour. Those boats do 20 in 5 knots of wind. They're out there, and that's what they're like, well, we just went 3 miles an hour, or a lot of people just don't even do the math. Okay. So again, they're lying about everything, and there's zero evidence of the globe. Zero.
Hey, before I forget, there's a brand new documentary called Flatten the Curve. Is that what it's called?
So in the app, listen, this is your first homework. I'm going to give you the sheet. I'm going to give you this. Hit the web button, and then hit the full length FE movies. And it's right there, the top one. Bam. This is all military guys, airline pilots, Navy guys,
submarine guys.
Talking about the equipment, their experience, and telling you why the Earth is not a globe. Watch that, game changer. And then after you become a flat earther, watch this one. It's very fun. And then after that, watch this one. You probably know half of this stuff already. And there's no way you can get through the movies on this list without being as crazy as Rico.
I hope to never. Well, then I'm not going to watch.
I've got a theory.
Don't, because you too will lose family and friends.
No, I know, and believe me, I have. But I've got a theory. I started introducing this to Matt like 3 years ago or more. I was like, it's cool. You can make fun of me, like Dave. You were like, hey, if you're not educated enough, don't run and tell your friends. Well, I hadn't heard of you. And a random one of my friends going, oh my God, I found out this really cool thing. And it went south quick.
Yeah. So you had to be careful.
It went that way with my wife for 8 months. So my theory, and Matt, believe me, I love you with all my heart. But my theory is, I told you it took my own wife an additional 8 months. My theory is that because it's after 8 months that you can't be outdone by a woman.
She's on board now, right, Rico?
Oh, my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's 2015 too.
All right. Awesome. So
next month is my 7 years.
Here is the way if you're a flat earther and you're trying to convince your significant other, and they think you're crazy, go, hey, listen, maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, but this guy's offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. Can you help me? And then what you do is you take them to that playlist and you say, we just need 1 proof of the globe, and you hit the 3rd video down, which is ODD's 21 questions. Say there's 21 things that say the Earth is is flat here. Maybe we can debunk one of them and win the Bitcoins. Help me. And if they watch all 21, they're finished. They're infected like a fungus.
Absolutely. And I understand Matt's version and my wife's version, which is it's easy to go, hey, I got out of high school and went on tour with a band, in a band, and I was just dumb, so I fell for it. And my version of that is, well, my wife took longer because she has 6 years of college, which to me is 6 more years in indoctrination.
6 more indoctrination
now. Well, Matt is still going to school. Actually, at work, he's so smart that he's during work hours going to college online.
Oh, Matt, that's all. We got to have a whole nother sit down about that.
No,
I bet I can teach you something.
You're
not alone. Look at this. I mean, Matt, you're gonna be alone because this is growing super fast.
I'm happy being alone right now.
No, don't say that. No, I'm trying to compliment you. Don't interrupt. He's the smartest dipshit friend I have.
All right.
Smile, dude. Smile. I'm kidding.
Hey, I call you the dumbest smart friend I have. So, I mean,
dude, no, we have a great time. That's why we have a podcast together. If we didn't have this like weird chemistry, our podcast would be just boring. So I love it.
All right. Listen, guys, I do have to go. Matthew, you're a flat earther. You just don't know it yet.
No,
I don't know about that, but hey,
I'm telling you, he won't.
Hey, it was a great conversation. I thank you for coming on with us.
All right, man.
I had a lot of fun. I don't have answers to everything that you said.
I don't have answers to everything too, but we do know that the Earth isn't a globe flying through an impossible space vacuum. There is no curvature. There is no axial rotation. There's nothing. There's so many things that prove that we're not on a globe. It's beyond even it's 2022 for Christ's sake. Yeah, how can you still think we live on a globe? It's the dumbest crap ever. All right, guys.
Hey, can I?
What?
Real quick.
Yes.
Hey, so a lot of people aren't going to want to subscribe to our podcast, Red Flag Rhetoric. Please subscribe. I promise most of you believe the same thing we both believe, except for cosmology. Please subscribe.
I'm going to start arguing with Rico more on it, too, to make you guys more entertained.
Cool.
I promise.
All right, Rico, send me a link. Send me a link when this is up, all right?
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right.
Cheers.
Love you guys.
See you, man. Bye.